y'all, what's going on? This is Jackie Marie, and today I am making a video. This is a requested video, and the question was, what is it like to work on the orthopedic floor? So I have floated to the orthopedic floor before, many times, um, and I'm just gonna tell you what it was like. So on the orthopedic floor, you have people who have um, they're there for various reasons. They could have a broken bone, joints. They could have had surgery, like maybe amputation. They could have just multiple reasons, issues with their nerves, things like that. So they're there for something that has to do with their either their muscles, their bones, joints, ligaments, tendons, nerves, things like that. They could have had something done with their spine, just all kinds of issues. So one of the things that I remember, if I remember nothing else about working on the ortho floor, is that the people were on the call light a lot because they're in pain. They're in pain and they really can't move. You understand? Because like you just had an amputation of your knee. Where you going? You ain't going nowhere. So they're in pain. They can't move. They're hungry. They have to use the bathroom. They're thirsty, they can't reach something, they need this, they may be, they could be alert, they just can't reach their phone. The phone is plugged in over there, or they brought their lunch, but the table is over there. Do you understand? So you're going to have people who are on the call light a lot. And when I say people are there for a lot of reasons, they are there for a lot of reasons. Arthritis, so they can have joint pain, bone fractures. That's mainly what you're going to see. They can have tissue injuries. They could have had surgery. So, like when my mom had knee surgery, she went back to that floor and then she went elsewhere, shoulder pain. So, it's not just the leg, it's not that they just can't get up and move because they had, their knee amputated or they got a broken leg. They can have shoulder pain. They can have carpal tunnel. So secretaries or people, a lot of secretaries, they get carpal tunnel because you're on the computer all day, and it affects you, it affects your hands, and so you may not be able to open that drink. Do you understand? So one of the things that, if I don't know nothing else, them people are on that call light. Okay, so hopefully, when you work on the orthopedic floor, you have good CNAs, you have enough CNAs, and you have good nurses. And I don't really remember the nurses being at the nurses station because they were always in a room. Like usually, you depending on what floor you work on, the nurses might sit at the nurse station charting, or they sit in like a area and they chart. No, honey, I don't remember seeing these nurses. Well, let me phrase that. They were sitting because the way the unit was set up. They didn't sit up at the nurses station, not really. They sat because they had like little areas throughout, like in the hallway, like in little corners for the nurses, and they would be there charting. So I will take that back. But no, you really didn't see the nurses at the nurse station. Like you really did not see them because just the way that unit was set up. You didn't see them charting. They were somewhere near. They were sitting areas near um, the rooms that they had. Like another thing, you have patients with bone cancer. I mean, you just see a lot of things. You see patients with cerebral palsy, and what else did I see? Yeah, neck pain, back pain. It's just a lot of things. I wasn't even thinking about all the areas that goes into the orthopedic, like the muscles and the joints. I wouldn't even think about it. You just think of broken leg. You think of back. But you don't. But carpal tunnel, that falls under it. Club foot, bow-legged, people who are bow-legged because their legs turn in. Things like that. So all that has to do with it. So the number one thing I remember is that the patients will be on the call light, and that could be expected because they can't move for the most part, or they can't open something. It's not that and then it also depends on their age. So if you got like a lot of elderly who fall and break their hip, You got them there. Now they really can't move. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of patience with pain and the fact that they can't do what they normally could do. They're at your mercy. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have the call light going off a lot. Like I said, hopefully you'll have enough CNAs and nurses that will be on top of it. And then the next thing you'll see a lot of, you will know your case managers. They will be on the unit because they have to arrange everything. So if a person, um, so like my mom had knee surgery. She didn't come straight home. I don't know, the first time, second time, I can't remember what time. I think it was the second time. She didn't come, might be the first time. She didn't come home. She went to a facility to get therapy. And then the third time, she she did outpatient, but they had to schedule all that. So the first time when she went to a facility, like a SNF, kind of like that, a skilled nursing facility, because they had people who actually lived there, and then they had people who just went there, got what they needed, and came on out. They had to arrange that because they send over they send over the chart, and then the facility decides if they're going to admit the patient. So case management handles all that. You don't handle that. Secretaries don't handle that. That's what management does. Same thing, case management. If the patient is going to be discharged, but they need a wheelchair, or they need a bed at home. Sometimes they still might need the bed. Any kind of equipment that the patient may need, the case manager is gonna arrange all that. So you will see your case manager. And as a matter of fact, when I worked over there, the case manager she sat near the secretary, but not at the nurse station. Because like I said, that unit had like little nooks for charting. They had computers all over the place for you to chart. So she said I could see her from where I was sitting at. I could see her over in the corner, but she sat to the side. So you will see your case managers because they're going to arrange for the discharge, and for the most part they need that. You need that. So like when I worked on the med surg floor, we had two case managers because the med surg was a huge floor. So you had two secretaries, two charge nurses, two case managers because you had a big floor, right? And we knew who our case manager was. We knew who they were. I mean, we had conversations with them. We chit chat, we talked, we laughed. Same thing with like on the ortho, you know who they are. Now in the ICU, you don't have case managers because what you need case manager. now the case manager that was over the ICU, she always sat on. Well, it was two of them. They sat on our sister floor because they would arrange for people to be discharged because some people had, because patients would have open heart surgery, and or they would go have like other procedures done, and so they would, need to arrange things like that. Or if they needed to be, the only time you really had case management do really anything in the ICU is when they needed to go to another hospital because our level of care wasn't, we couldn't do what the patient needed, like that type of level of care. So like we arranged to have patients flown down to Miami or flown to other hospitals that could, take, other trauma hospitals that can take the patients, or, hospitals could, like the one we had a patient, they were here on vacation, and the the father had a heart attack while he was working out. He was like in the hotel gym, and he had a heart attack. And so, and they were on vacation, the husband and wife and the kids. And so, uh, we brought him back to life because he had a heart attack. We brought him back to life. He was there for a while now. And then they arranged to have a helicopter fly him back to the hospital where they lived, if that makes sense. Okay. And so that's when case management gets involved because that's a big thing. Like same thing if we had a patient that we were convinced that the husband tried to kill the wife, but then they explained it. It was like, oh, okay, because I actually knew the area, but the guy, I think they were snowbirds, and the husband, and they were elderly, and the husband was trying to turn it to this shopping center to go to Olive Garden, and I knew exactly where it was. And yeah, you can't be turning in going slow. Okay, you got to, soon as you, cause them cars that's coming the other way, they rolling. Okay, they coming. And I guess he was slow turning in, and the car just and hit the passenger side. His wife, damn near every bone in her body broken, and they brought her to our hospital, which they should, because our hospital was the nearest hospital, when they should have taken her to the next hospital, because that was the hospital that can handle her. That was a trauma hospital. And so she was in our ICU for a while, and then they arranged it to have her be accepted to the trauma hospital. And she broke every bone in her body. Like we like, when I say bone, I had to call consults on like everybody, because we had to consult a podiatrist and an ortho, and this, like, we like a surgeon, and because but she should never have been brought there. And then of course these doctors, I don't think they ever really been in our ICU. So but then case management had to arrange for her to go to the other hospital, which is where she should have went in the first place. And then um, they transported her in, by ambulance to that hospital. So that's what case management does. So you will see a lot of that. You will see case management arranging transportation to other facilities, whether it be by ambulance, whether it be by helicopter, arranging equipment to go to the home, arranging, if a patient needs to go to a facility. They will also, deal with if a patient needs to, if a patient is safe to go back home, or if a patient needs to go to a different facility. So let's say they came from a nursing home, and that nursing home is not equipped, or something's going on. So case management would be in all that. So you will see your case manager, you will know your case manager. Another thing you will see is you will see occupational or physical therapy. So, and it depends on if they have it. More than likely they do, but they don't have it at the rate that ability to get physical therapy. And then when she had her second knee surgery, or third one, she went to an outpatient, because they don't have, like, at least the one we worked, they didn't have. I mean, they had a nice area, but they didn't have it. They didn't have it like, they had an occupational therapy area, physical therapy, but I very seldom saw people in there doing anything with them. Um, and I'm just being honest, I very seldom saw them in there. But you will um, do consults for physical therapy, occupational therapy, and that's why the patient is still there. So you may put those orders in. You're gonna learn a lot of the medications, like the pain drugs. You gonna know those drugs. I'm telling you, you're gonna know that. You're gonna know the morphine. You're gonna know the Dilaudid. You're gonna know the what else you got? Percocet. You're gonna know, it's a lot of pain drugs. You're gonna know those drugs. Okay, I'm telling you. The med surge floor. I mean, yeah. People ask for they Dilaudid and all that stuff. Yeah, but you gonna know those pain drugs, because if a person just came back from surgery, they just had their knee amputated, below the knee, above the knee, they gonna be in pain. If a patient, um, you know, got nerve pain, one they disc in their spine is, they in pain. Do you understand? So you're gonna know those drugs. You're also gonna do a lot of consents on procedures. So yeah, you're gonna do a lot of consents on procedures, whether it be like knee surgery, amputation, spine, things like that. You're gonna do consents. You're gonna do a lot of consents. I'm telling you that right now. And then you may also put in a consult for prosthetics. So like let's say a person does get an amputation below the knee, and now, but then later on, they want to fit them for a prosthetic. You may put in a consult for that, and then they'll come while they're at the hospital. It just all depends. While they're at the hospital, or um, if I guess if they're being discharged, then the the case manager will handle that. It just all depends. Don't be surprised if you do that though, because I did that when I worked on the med surg floor. I would put in prosthetics because the patients would be on the med surg floor, and then they would go to have an amputation of the knee because more like they're diabetic or something. They go have an amputation of the knee. I did those consents all the time, and then every now and then I would do a consult for a prosthetic because those patients, I really don't remember them coming back to us. So, but yeah, I did a lot of those consents. Like you'd be surprised when people getting their knees amputated. And goodness gracious, but yeah, I don't know about wound care. I don't know how often you'll see a wound care, cause I'm trying to think. I mainly saw wound care in the ICU. I'm trying to think. What would you have? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the nurses are trained to deal with that. I don't know. I don't know if like you just got your leg cut off. I don't know if that's a wound. I don't know. So I don't know if you would. I'm trying to think of something. I don't know. Maybe the nurses are trained. I can't really say if I remember really seeing wound care. But yeah, the people you're going to see. And one thing about orthopedic is the doctors. A lot of the doctors specialize in certain things. So, like you might have a doctor that is a chiropractor, and then you might have a doctor that's a podiatrist. A podiatrist only does like the feet, like your toes and stuff like that. And then you have a spine doctor, and then you might have a joint doctor, and then you might that's all they do. They just do the joints, or you have a doctor that just only does the spine or things like that. So there are a lot of specialties involved in orthopedic. So it's not just one doctor does the whole body. You have doctors that do certain things. So I want you to keep that in mind. You know, yeah, keep that in mind that there are specialty doctors. You're gonna know your doctors. One of the things you're gonna do is you're gonna learn your doctors. It's just like when you work primarily on the cardiology floor. You know your cardiologist. You know all your cardiologists, and you're gonna know all the podiatrists, the 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 chiropractors, the orthopedic. You're gonna know all the doctors, the ortho surgeons. You will know them. Okay, you gonna know them. You gonna have their cell numbers. Okay, so you're gonna be the go-to. You're gonna know them, and they gonna know you. And yeah, that's all I got. It's. I think the biggest thing is just be prepared for that call light. Be prepared for the call light. Um, like I said, hope you got good nurses and good CNAs that can go in the room and see what they need, because you got to understand the people, they're in pain, or they can't do, for themselves. They got issues. So I think that's the most compassionate floor. I mean, besides ICU, I mean every floor you should be really compassionate. But the thing is, the people are there. It's not like med surg floor where the people just don't take care of people. Some people don't take care of themselves, and put it like that. Some people don't take care of themselves, and they be doing too much, and you don't understand. I mean, you just ortho, you might have tripped over something. You was in your house and you tripped over something and you broke a leg, and now you know what I'm saying, you can't do what you normally do. Or you go to work and you've been working hard for the last 30 years, and now you got carpal tunnel. Or you a hard working person, and you you work on roofs and you fell off a roof and you hurt your back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a difference. It's not it's not like med surge where, you know, you got drug seekers and diabetics that not non-compliant, or that kind of patient. Not saying you shouldn't be compassionate, but I'm just saying when you see it, it kind of, you get frustrated. But then when you look at the ortho, you just tripped. You know what I'm saying? You was in your house and you tripped over the dog, and now you're down for some weeks, or you work hard, and then so I'm more compassionate, for things like that, and of course compassionate ICU. But yeah, that's all I got for you. That's all I can really think of. Just get ready for them call lights. Get ready. But I hope I answered your question. And if you have any comments, any more questions, you can put them below. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.